Hello, fellow packmates. This is Jennifer Steckel from the Direwolf Project, where science meets the Ice Age. We're the only breeding program in the world recreating the exact bone and body structure of the extinct prehistoric direwolf. Not for the wild, but for your loving family den, using only domesticated dog breeds. I've been raising these incredible American Dirus dogs for over 20 years, delivering 73 litters and over 400 loyal pups to the world. Want to track upcoming litters or see which puppies are ready to join your pack? Join the inner circle at direwolfproject.com. If you love prehistoric pups and pack-centered wisdom, give us a like, hit subscribe, and let's step out of the den together. The Direwolf Project is not just another breeding program. It is the most unique dog breeding endeavor in the world. A mission unlike anything seen before. Our aim is at once daring and deeply rooted in nature. To recreate the bone and body structure of the extinct American Dirus, the legendary direwolf of the Ice Age. Within the loving heart of a fully domesticated family companion dog, using only domesticated dog breeds, we have charted a course no one else has ever attempted. Blending science, history, and heart into a single living legacy. But such a bold goal demands a foundation, a creed. From years of careful study, observation, and reflection, we forged what we call the 4 pillars of the Direwolf Project. These pillars are not marketing slogans, nor shallow ideals. They are the structural bones of our work. The truths we live by, the compass that directs every breeding decision. Without them, our project would be adrift. And with them, we stand as a beacon of a better way. Why did we need a new way at all? Because mankind has lost its way. Somewhere along the trail, humans who should have protected their tail-wagging companions traded stewardship for vanity. They bred dogs into caricatures of themselves, smashed faces that cannot breathe, elongated backs that cannot walk, skulls so massive that puppies must be cut from their mothers by surgery rather than born naturally. Dogs whose lifespans are tragically cut short, not by nature's law, but by human neglect. What was once noble and strong was twisted into fragility and deformity. These are not accidents of nature. They are man-made monstrosities. The Direwolf Project exists to rise above this chaos, to restore dignity and health to our most faithful friends. We are not crafting designer dogs, nor adding another notch in the endless carousel of novelty breeds. We are reaching backwards into the Ice Age itself to pull forward the strength, resilience, and grandeur of the dire wolf. And we are weaving it thread by thread into a calm, sensitive, utterly devoted family dog. This is not innovation for its own sake. It is restoration. It is remembrance. It is the old way, nature's way, reawakened in a world that has forgotten it. The 4 pillars of the Direwolf Project are as follows: sustainable breeding, a calm, sensitive temperament, an Ice Age appearance, and adhering to a higher authority. These are our guiding truths. Together, they form the skeleton upon which the American Dirus dog is built. They protect us from error, hold us accountable, and remind us that what we do is not merely for ourselves, but for every puppy born and every family who welcomes them home. In these pillars, you will see not only the uniqueness of our vision, but also the passion and resolve of a pack determined to change dog breeding forever. Pillar number 1, sustainable breeding. Not purebred, not crossbred, strongbred. Stronger genes, stronger health. In the heart of the Direwolf Project lies a principle as old as the Ice Age itself: balance. Breeding is not a race for novelty, nor a blind pursuit of uniformity. It is the art and science of creating dogs that are as resilient as they are magnificent. Dogs whose very genes carry the echoes of prehistory. This is the essence of being strongbred. What does strongbred mean? Strongbred is more than a label. It is a deliberate, thoughtful philosophy that transcends the confines of traditional purebred standards, where closed registries pursue purity at the cost of health, and random crossbreeding chases novelty without consistency. Strongbred carves a third way, a permanent open studbook that allows for regulated outcrossing, but every decision is intentional, with one aim: to fortify the lineage with strength, balance, and vitality. Strongbred is not a pedigree, nor a checklist, nor a temperament score. It is the interweaving of all three things: health, temperament, and conformation, held in delicate equilibrium. Too much inbreeding, as seen in many closed populations, risks uniformity of weakness. Fragile dogs riddled with inherited diseases. Too much diversity, on the other paw, breeds chaos, unpredictable temperaments, unstable health, and inconsistent appearance. True strength, like the wolves of the Ice Age, lies in the balance between these extremes. Genetic diversity is the backbone of strength. This balance is achieved through careful stewardship of genetics. The Direwolf Project maintains 6 distinct haplotypes across 5 haplogroups, making the American Dirus dog one of the most genetically diverse, yet cohesively unified dog breeds in existence. This diversity is not haphazard. Each pairing is chosen with precision, observation, and respect for natural order. In every litter, there is predictability without fragility, stability without stagnation, living proof that resilience comes from harmony, not extremes. Take health, for example, the foremost priority. At the core of the strongbred dog is health. In the Direwolf Project, the common wait to breed or disease prevention model, which assumes risk in every unknown, is not what we do. Instead, we embrace a disease elimination model. Once a health issue is identified, it is systematically bred out. Breeding becomes an informed response to what is known, not a fearful avoidance of what might be. Through careful observation, targeted testing, and rigorous documentation, we create a healthier lineage, generation by generation. Temperament and conformation are next, reflecting the ideal genetics, and health alone are not enough. The American Dirus must also embody the right temperament. Dogs are chosen for their calm, sensitive nature, the steady companions that modern families need. Conformation standards emphasize strength and vitality, not exaggerated traits that compromise function. The result is a dog built to live well, move well, and bond deeply, carrying the spirit of a wolf but the gentleness of a lamb. To see the philosophy in action, one need only meet Acacia. She's now thriving at 11 years old. She is the product of a deliberate close brother-sister mating from a first-generation cross with a giant Alaskan Malamute. Many breeders would have trembled at such a choice. But Acacia flourished. Her vitality, longevity, and joyful spirit proved that with knowledge, precision, and balance, even seemingly risky pairings can yield extraordinary results. Acacia is not an exception. She is the blueprint in motion, a living testament to what strongbred can accomplish. Sustainable breeding is not merely a method. It is a way of life, rooted in the wisdom of nature and the lessons of the Ice Age. To be strongbred is to pledge every pup to a foundation of health, resilience, and strength, so that the legacy of the wolf may walk beside us once more, not as a shadow of the past, but as a companion for the future. Pillar number 2 is the calm, sensitive temperament. The direwolf dog is the world's first large breed family companion dog, a lamb in wolf's clothing. Step into the world of dogs, and you'll find a landscape shaped by centuries of work. The herders with their sharp-eyed border collies, the guardians with their steadfast mastiffs, the hunters with their tireless hounds. Every large or giant breed in existence today was designed for a job. Every one of them except for one. The American Dirus dog is the first and only large breed companion dog ever created. Not companion in the sense of a dog's lifestyle, but companion in its very nature, passed down like eye color or coat color. Where other breeds carry the instincts of herding, guarding, or hunting, the American Dirus dog carries something different. An innate, genetically inherited desire to simply be with its family. This is what sets it apart. It doesn't strive to chase, to patrol, to dominate, or to wander. Instead, it nestles into the rhythms of its human pack, content to walk beside them, sit at their feet, or rest its great head on their lap. It is a dog bred not for labor, but for love. Calm, introverted, and steady. A true lamb in wolf's clothing. How is such a temperament assured? At the Direwolf Project, temperament is not left to chance. From the moment of birth, puppies undergo formal, breed-specific temperament testing, first at birth and again at 2.5 weeks old. These early assessments, rare if unheard of outside of specialized guide dog programs, allow us to identify the subtle cues of calmness, sensitivity, and devotion. Observations continue throughout puppyhood, ensuring that each puppy meets the strict inherited standards of the breed. Generations of careful selection mean temperament is placed above appearance, always just beneath health. Parents are chosen for their nearness to the true companion ideal, not for flashy looks or novelty. For this reason, American Dirus dogs embody not just balance in their genes, as described in pillar number 1, but also balance in their hearts. What does this look like in real life? Well, it looks like Rancor, a giant American Dirus dog in Ohio, who serves as a PTSD companion. Rancor is not loud, nor commanding, but steady as a stone. He positions himself watching from behind in lines to shield his person from anxiety. He gently wakes his owner from nightmares. He clears the house before his human enters, easing fears before they even form. One day, while visiting the elementary school where his owner works with special needs children, Rancor faced the ultimate challenge. A shooter was reported nearby, and the school went into lockdown. Hidden in a closet with terrified teachers, Rancor leaned first into his own person, offering calm through gentle touch. And then, to everyone's surprise, he moved to each teacher one by one, lending quiet courage. In that dark moment, he was not just a comfort, but an emotional anchor to the whole group. His steady presence gave every soul in that room the strength to endure. This is the soul of the American Dirus dog. A dog who does not need to prove itself with bravado, but they lead through loyalty, tenderness, and quiet strength. A temperament rooted in strong genes. Temperament is not separate from the strong-bred philosophy of pillar number 1. It is its very heart. Strong-bred means more than health and conformation. It also means uniting all breeders under a common standard of stability, predictability, and purpose. For the American Dirus dog, that purpose is clear: to be the first great canine companion breed, designed not for prey or patrol, but for partnership. Pillar number 3 is our Ice Age appearance. Direwolf dogs are 100% dog and 0% wolf. They are prehistorically styled with nothing wild. So what does it mean to look into the eyes of prehistory, yet feel only gentleness? That is the paradox at the core of the Direwolf Project's 3rd pillar: to bring back the majestic aesthetic of the direwolf without summoning any of its wild instincts. It is not a simple task. Domestication itself, as the famous Russian fox farm experiments revealed, tends to soften the sharp lines of the wild. Curled tails, floppy ears, rounded eyes, and piebald markings often walk hand in hand with gentleness toward humans. So, how does one create a dog that looks like the big bad wolf of legend, yet carries the soul of a lamb? The answer is patience, precision, and respect for nature's limits. Every puppy born into the Direwolf Project is carefully tracked through GNA, not just for health and temperament, but for the recessives and dominants that shape outward form. Still, health and temperament are always at the front. Appearance, no matter how alluring, will never outweigh the promise of a long-lived, sound, and gentle-hearted companion. And so, progress is deliberate. Rather than chasing a vague, wolfish aesthetic, the Direwolf Project looks to the bones, the undeniable blueprints left behind in the fossil record. Paleontological studies, including the Direwolf Project's own skull comparisons of direwolves versus gray wolves reveal subtle but vital distinctions. A thicker, broader skull, greater bite force, a skeletal frame built for raw power rather than long pursuit. These truths guide the hand of the breeder more than speculation about coat color or hair length, which science cannot yet confirm. From these fossils, we prioritize traits that echo Ice Age power, while remaining firmly within the domestic sphere. Heavy muscling to mirror the strength required to carry such dense bone. Thick skeletal structure to achieve the same towering bulk. Giant size that trades agility for presence. An animal that appears formidable, but whose true nature is tender. Imagine a creature like Mount Everest or Ripley from the mountain peaks litter, standing 31 inches tall at the shoulder and weighing 130 to 135 pounds at just 1 year old. Their silhouettes are shadows of an ancient predator. Long manes drape their necks, tails plume without feathering, and their slanted eyes glint with an almost otherworldly wolfish intensity. And yet, when approached, they wag those tails, lean in for hugs, and soak up affection like gentle giants made of living velvet. This is the meaning of prehistorically styled with nothing wild. Think not of the skinny, wary wolves of modern wilderness, but of the storybook beast, the hulking wolf of fairy tales with yellow eyes glowing in the dark. A wolf that looks fierce enough to frighten, yet is, in truth, a dog bred for nothing more than companionship. The Dire Wolf Project does not rush this resurrection. Like glaciers carving valleys, the process is slow, deliberate, and profound. Each generation brings us closer, bone by bone, to the vision of the direwolf, without ever sacrificing the tenderness that defines the American Dirus dog. Pillar number 4 has to do with a higher authority. The way we like to say it is God's breeding plan. Rooted in nature and guided by truth. At the Direwolf Project, we hold to something higher than human fashion, profit, or convenience. We call it God's breeding plan. This is not a mystical phrase, but a guiding principle coined by our founder, Lois Schwartz, to describe a way of breeding that mirrors how nature itself sustains life. In the wild, natural selection ensures that only the healthiest, strongest, and best adapted animals pass on their genes. The moth that blends into its bark survives. The one that stands out becomes prey. Though we cannot release our dogs into the wilderness and let nature decide, we can imitate that wise process when making breeding decisions. We do this by selecting only those dogs that embody sound conformation, robust health, and steady companionship. Traits that would secure survival if they were truly wild. That means some rules are immovable. Traits to choose might include strong hips and joints, correct bites, confident yet calm temperament, and the ability to live comfortably within modern human life. Traits to exclude would include hip or leg faults, health weaknesses, neurological disorders, allergies, dental deformities, and shy or aggressive temperaments. But here's where our path diverges from pure nature. While nature would select for the fiercest of most predatory temperaments, we instead choose the opposite. Dogs that are gentle, quiet, and family-centered. These are not traits that keep a carnivore alive in the wild, but they are exactly what make a dog thrive as a human companion. In this way, we honor both the design of nature and the needs of modern families. This principle doesn't stop at conformation and temperament. It extends to every practice we uphold. Breeding, for example, we do not believe in artificial insemination. No forced pairings. Dogs are placed together naturally and which they choose to mate. Or not, that choice is honored. Sometimes it means no litter is born, and we accept that as truth revealed, not as failure. And here's the timing. We breed on the first natural heat cycle, not according to modern delay tactics that contradict nature's design. And what about lineage? Dogs that do not meet the standard of health and stability are disqualified from producing offspring. And here's how we deal with care. Nutrition, environment, and training are all rooted in natural principles. We promote a whole prey raw diet. We respect dogs, not as surrogate children. We give them structure, rules, and boundaries that honor their species and culture, while preparing them to live in ours. Rooted in nature, guided by truth, is more than a motto. It is the heartbeat of this work. It acknowledges that human intellect is not the final authority. Whether you call it God, nature, the universe, or simply life, there is something larger than ourselves that orders creation. We believe the healthiest, most enduring path comes when we surrender our human control and follow that greater wisdom. This pillar is what allows the Direwolf Project to endure where others fail. For when breeders place their trust in human fashion, greed, or convenience, the dogs suffer. But when we imitate the wisdom written into nature itself, our dogs grow stronger, healthier, and truer to the vision of the Ice Age. This is not only science. It is not only faith. It is the reconciliation of both. A way of life that builds a dog's line capable of lasting for centuries and not just decades. The 4 pillars of the Direwolf Project are more than principles. They are a covenant between humanity and the dogs who walk beside us since the first fires lit the caves of our ancestors. They remind us that true strength is not measured by brute force, but by balance. That beauty is not vanity, but harmony. That companionship is not ownership, but kinship. In resurrecting the form of the direwolf, we are not chasing ghosts. We are honoring memory. We are proving that even in a world bent on distortion and decay, something ancient and true can be reborn. Not in wildness, but in gentleness. Not in fear, but in love. Every American Dirus dog carries this legacy in its bones and in its heart. They are living testaments that we can do better, that we can rise above the errors of the past and leave behind a lineage not of suffering, but of strength, health, and devotion. They are reminders that when humans work with nature, guided by reverence rather than pride, miracles are not only possible, they are inevitable. This is more than a breeding program. It is a movement. It is a howl that echoes across the ages, calling all who hear it to stand with us, to believe with us, to dream with us. Together as one pack, we can restore the dignity of the dog, honor the spirit of the direwolf, and leave behind a legacy worthy of both. The Direwolf Project is not merely about dogs. It is about hope, memory, and love made flesh. And in the heart of every wagging tail, every golden-eyed gaze, and every loyal companion who leans in close, we find the future we are building. A future where the old ways are not forgotten, but reborn. So, let us stand together. One vision, one pack, one great endeavor.
Want to meet more of our amazing American Dirus dogs? This video right here highlights their amazing personalities. Don't miss it.